Welcome to Lovin The Loveboat, a fond and funny look back on the world's greatest cruise ship-based television show. I'm Istvan, singer, songwriter, and TV fanatic.
And I'm Michelle, pop culture enthusiast.
Join us as we relive episodes of one of the most watched TV series of all time.
Occasionally deviating to pop culture charts unknown.
So come aboard, we're expecting you for another edition of
Lovin The Loveboat.
Hello, Michelle.
Hello, Istvan.
Hello, listeners. We're back.
We are back.
I don't remember when the last one was.
About a little over a month ago.
Right, because I went into a traumatic coma for a period of time. Because if you listened with us, you realized that the end of that two-parter was far too emotional and sad for me to handle, which is what has led us here today, correct?
Correct.
Guys, we're doing an audible. Michelle and I decided to choose an episode as we bounce around randomly from season 3 to season 10. And we tried to pick one that was just like total one episode, not a two-parter, and something that maybe would be a little more fun and classic in nature. And I think we picked a pretty good one, huh?
We did. Still season 3.
You picked a good one, actually. I picked a different one. I watched the whole thing and I felt it was a bit of a dud. I don't want to say which one it was.
Yeah, this one's still in season 3. It's a little early. Is it earlier?
Yeah, I think it's season 3, episode 4.
But yes, I picked this one because I have a love of Phyllis Diller.
Yes. And she delivers like nobody else can. Phyllis Diller is...
She's amazing, and I love her so much.
All right, so should we just get into it?
Yeah, let's go.
Let me tell everybody what our classic 3 storylines are. In no particular order, our first story is The Audit Couple, written by Bob Fraser and Rob Dames, Bob and Rob. Secondly, we have My Boyfriend's Back, written by Joyce Armour and Judy Neer, a female writing team, which is kind of cool. And lastly, we have The Scoop, written by Howard Albrecht and Saul Weinstein. Michelle, who are our stars?
Well, let me get into it, but I'm going to need your little help here with this first name.
Sure.
Is it Ray Buktenica?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, Ray Buktenica. He plays Simon Scott. He's a character actor that everybody knows. And
is it Simon Scott? I have written down Scott Allen.
I don't know.
Where'd you get Simon Scott from?
Perhaps Internet Movie Database?
Well, see, maybe you're correct. I thought I'd just do it from the show, so maybe I'm incorrect. Let's say Simon... Wait, is it Simon Scott?
That's what I said. What did you say?
Scott Allen.
Doesn't
matter. You know what?
Scott.
Hey, the noteworthy part is that I always make fun of you for having 2 first names. The Love Boat loves to name people with 2 first names. Regardless of if it's Scott Allen or Simon Scott, he's got 2 first names.
Yeah, so very popular to have. And very
You should
cool.
have been on. Okay, go.
So I've learned some interesting. I'm going to kind of tie him in with Joyce Dewitt,
Okay.
who is also on the show playing Jackie Landers. Yeah, as you know, she's from Three's Company.
Yep.
I've not watched any of Ray's previous shows, like Heat and Jag. I've never watched Jag. Have you ever watched Jag?
No, those
I've
are
heard
not
of
shows
it. I
I've
know
watched.
it's very popular, but I've never watched it. But anyway, I learned doing my research that they lived together from 1973 to 1980, which would put them as a couple during this episode.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Pretty cool. It's right.
Well, we've said that before. Lots of times they'll pair up people who actually were together in real life. That's kind of cool.
We may as well keep it in the family and get to Richard Kline, who played Danny Lucas, who you would know as Larry Dallas from Three's Company.
Yeah.
And also, he and Joyce Dewitt are still acting, which I thought was very cool.
That's very cool.
Then we can get into who my favorite, Phyllis Diller. She plays Viola Penny. We don't really need to say much about her because I'm pretty sure everybody listening knows a lot about her. And if you don't, look her up. She's fabulous.
Why did she always wear wigs? Was that always her hair, wigs?
No, she always wore wigs. There's
Okay.
there's all kinds of funny skits. Haven't you seen that funny skit that's been or clip that's been making the rounds lately of her and Tony
Michelle,
Orlando?
Your viewing habits, the algorithm and the way that it's feeding you stuff. No, I have not seen those clips that are going around with you and every other senior citizen on the planet.
Orlando, where he kind of swoops her down for a kiss and her wig falls off.
No.
But she had made it loose on purpose for
No.
comedy, but he didn't know that it was going to happen. No, it's worth a watch.
No.
Look it up on YouTube.
I will.
And I just like her because she was already married with 6 kids before she got her start in acting. And
Oh, she's just so great. I mean, again, we've said it countless times. All those people of that era were so funny and different and colorful and cartoonish or something. and I wouldn't trade it in for the world. Phyllis Diller is definitely like at the top of that Mount Rushmore of great,
And
you know,
how, like,
people.
she would call her husband Fang.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to start my stand-up career in
You
my
should.
50s, and when I will base it around you, like she started out. I will just have to come up with a nickname for you.
Sure.
Then next we have Jennifer Salt. She plays Patricia Lucas, which was Danny Lucas's wife. She seemed familiar to me. How about you?
Vaguely, not really. I mean, as time went on, maybe a little bit, but not like, oh yeah, I forgot about her. No, I don't.
But I'm going to ask you now because I have not watched this series, but you have. She's been in American Horror Story.
Oh.
Lots of episodes, like 70 or something crazy. Like
I haven't watched it for a while. I watched like the first couple seasons were kind of fun to watch for me. I'll have to go back. And
So she seems like a prominent player in American Horror Story.
oh wow, I'm gonna have to go back and watch. I forgot about those altogether. You know, I can't even remember when I was watching those. But yeah, I have. Oh, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. Cool. I'm gonna go back and check it out.
Cool. And then everybody's favorite handsome hunk, Lyle Wagoner.
Oh man. You know what? After
Jake Kavanaugh.
oh my God, he's the greatest. I mean, now this is not this role. He's great in this role, but nothing will top the one where he's sort of like the comic relief, like pretentious actor
Yes.
who's totally self-involved.
This would be
the one
his
with
second
Tina
appearance.
Louise. You guys, if you have not watched that one and listened to that episode, I cannot remember. We'll have to put that in the description, but that is one of my favorites. He is so funny in that and so awesome. But he's great in this as well. We'll get into it.
Exactly. And then last but not least, we have Shane Butterworth as Billy Landers.
Billy.
We got a lot to go on with this one.
Yes, we
you had
do.
said he looked familiar.
Yeah. I remember that kid. And when I saw him on this, I'm like, oh, wow, I forgot about that kid. I don't know. I don't remember what he was on, though.
Well, not much, but I never watched this, so my guess is that something else was on against it because I love the movie, but he was in the Bad News Bears, the TV series.
Oh, he was the nerd kid then.
He
Remember
was-
the one like who was getting
yes,
picked on
he
really
was.
badly?
He was yes, he was.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Timmy Lupus. I don't recall watching the series. You obviously did.
No, I did. There was a television series of the Bad News Bears?
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't say he was in the movie. It says he was in the television series.
Well, that kind of ties in too because his role and his story on this, there's some stuff that really definitely is dated as far as that's concerned.
gosh,
and
yeah.
if you watch the Bad News Bears, as much as we still love that movie immensely, there's so much stuff in the Bad News Bears that just could never fly today. It's crazy.
Same for this, as we will get into. So that's it. So let's get going.
All right, first and foremost, Michelle, did you notice how tan Captain Steubing was in this episode? Did that didn't you didn't notice that?
Not too much, but maybe because it was an earlier episode.
He
and
looked like George Hamilton on this episode to me. He looked so dark. He like was he fell asleep in the sun or something. I don't know. It's just a minor thing.
I watched on a different TV than you, so maybe
Maybe
it
the
wasn't
settings.
light. So maybe you might want to check your colors.
I did watch it on the older set, on the old tube set that we've got in the bedroom. No, I don't know. All right, forget it. I won't even.
No, it's fine. Now I'm going to have to go back and look at his tan. But we may as well talk about this then,
Why?
because the Captain Steubing is very nervous about.
Yeah, maybe his blood pressure just was elevated
Maybe.
because the captain is very concerned about an IRS. I don't know if this was a common thing where an IRS agent would, I guess if you're being audited, then they will make their way to wherever you live, and he lives on a ship. So the captain is completely freaked out, as well he should be, that an IRS agent is on its way.
Hey, Gopher. Do you have any idea why the captain's been holed up in his cabin all day?
IRS.
You are what?
Internal Revenue Service. Captain is being audited.
You mean they're coming here?
Yeah. Well, they realize how difficult it is for him to get to their office, so they're making special arrangements to come on the ship.
How is he taking it?
You see him? Is he here yet? How do I look? Too flashy. Maybe I should change it to an older uniform. I'd say he's taking it pretty well.
So Michelle, I like a lot when, the Love Boat goes to different locales sometimes. I like when they show different things. So one of the classic ones is when the cabs are pulling up and dropping people off.
Yeah.
So two of the people that arrive are two reporters. Reporters from what magazine? Star Life magazine, Michelle. And this is like a National Enquirer type of a,
The Star.
Yeah, gossip, whatever type of a thing. And these guys are here to get the story on a famous actress. But they also do something. They reference something that I liked a lot growing up.
I know what you're going to say because I have it written down too.
Oh, say it.
Make me laugh.
It's the hilarious comedy game, Make Me Laugh. And here is your host, Bobby Ben.
I loved Make Me Laugh so much. Shout out to my cousin Renee because we would play Make Me Laugh in the house.
Me and my sister would do the same thing, and my friends, we would try to make each other laugh too.
I had always hoped for the Unknown Comic to be on because
Yes.
I loved the Unknown Comic as a kid. You know, I don't know. The whole Make Me Laugh thing is the greatest thing on earth.
My friend Laura from grade school once was the Unknown Comics, but in a clown suit for Halloween.
See, you know what, man? That stuff is great. And I love it so much. But yeah, these guys are here to get the scoop.
Will you? It's not the worst assignment in the world, you know.
No, but it's close.
Do you believe him? We go to 3 crews to dig up the story on the sexiest lady in television. And you look like a winner on Make Me Laugh.
Look, all you have to do is snap the pictures. I'm the guy who has to dig up dirt.
Well, that's what the readers of Star Life magazine want, isn't it? I mean, the dirtier the dirt, the better.
Doesn't it bother you that Jackie Lander seems to be a pretty decent person?
According to our tip, she's traveling incognito with a mysterious male. Does that sound decent to you?
Well, let's get on with it.
You know how I know this is a big story with Joyce Dewitt's character?
How?
The one photographer reporter has 2 cameras around his neck at all times.
That's your giveaway?
That's my giveaway, because you got to be prepared to take a lot of photos.
Yeah, well, she arrives. Doc is completely being lascivious with every single woman that's coming on. And then he sees her and beelines, as he always does, for the pretty lady.
Well, hi. I'm Alan Bricker, ship's doctor, cabin pointer outer, and all-around nice guy.
Hello, I'm,
Oh, yes, you certainly are, Miss Landers.
Oh, no, the name's Harris. I really appreciate it.
You got it, Miss Harris.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm in Promenade 110. That's this way, isn't it?
That companionway will get you there just as quickly, and a lot more privately.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
Well, you have certainly proven yourself to be an all-round nice guy and a good cabin pointer-outer. Hopefully I won't need a doctor.
Where's the flu season now that I really need it?
Now we have my favorite Love Boat scenario.
Which is?
The bump into somebody from your past.
You have to have it. It's almost mandatory.
It really
It's like cooking without like olive oil or garlic or something like that. Because who knows whom on this episode, Michelle? We got the suave Lionel Wagoner, Cruising Julie, and she's really actually, even though he is an older gentleman, isn't really buying what he's selling.
As a cruise director, I would imagine you have a certain amount of mingling to do with the passengers.
Well, there's mingling and there's mingling.
Is that a yes?
That's not even a maybe, sorry.
Now, who from Lionel's past, Michelle, shows up next?
Was it Bunny? His old girlfriend.
Bunny.
Who's newly married on her honeymoon with Larry.
Bunny. We don't know that yet. We don't know that her nickname is Bunny from the past. But we have a couple of newlyweds. It's kind of interesting in that Lionel Wagoner on this episode is playing the classic Larry character, basically, from Three's Company.
Good point.
And Larry is playing sort of the sweet, kind newlywed husband who is going to have to endure this Casanova from the past.
Happy honeymoon, Mrs. Lucas.
Same to you, Mr. Lucas.
Well, you could call me Danny.
Now, do you know we've been married exactly 3 hours?
Oh, and they said it wouldn't last, huh?
Michelle, in the clips that are circulating in your world of social media,
Yes.
does the clip of Phyllis Diller arriving on the Love Boat ever pop up?
No, it does not.
Because she's next.
She is next. And you know, it should be because I'm trying to figure out what that giant black box thing she was wheeling with her.
Her ventriloquist dummy. I don't know.
That's what it looked like. Like, what could be in there? Like some sort of like typewriter, or like, why couldn't you just have regular luggage with a briefcase?
Well, who knows? Nobody cares really other than you, because they were expecting a man IRS agent to come onto the ship. And they are very, very surprised when, what is her name? Viola Penny?
Viola Penny. That's pun intended, I would imagine.
Sets foot on board.
Oh, man, here. What? No, let me.
Penny.
Nickel.
Viola Penny, IRS.
Oh, how do you do?
At the IRS, the question is, how do you do, and how much do you owe us?
How much do you need? Captain Stubing, sir?
Yes?
Sir, this is Viola Penny. She's the tax man.
How do you do?
Don't ask.
Let's get on with the audit, Captain.
I'd love to help you, Miss Penny, but unfortunately, we're just about to sail.
No problem. I have a ticket. We'll have lots of time.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So we're immediately like on the deck by the pool. Lyle Wagoner is in a tank top and shorts outfit.
Hey, now I'm thinking about maybe he has the same one that he wore from the last episode. I need to go back and check that. Yes.
That was one thing I was thinking. Number two, I was thinking, did you want that outfit?
No.
Why?
I don't like any shorts from that era. I hate them. I don't even have shorts really
Well,
that
what
I can.
about the tank top? And it was a matching
Tank top,
set.
yes. Tank top's fine. Oh yeah, that would look great.
Top and shorts.
Be an awesome look for me. I don't know. I'm gonna say no to that. Still, praying for terry cloth. I've moved on to crocheted items. I'm into crocheted items now.
Okay.
So I'm not saying I want crocheted shorts.
That was the first thing I noticed in this scene, besides him being a lecherous.
Yeah, this guy is out of control because this poor Larry on the episode, he's a husband now, a newlywed husband, and this, handsome, for the era, fella from his wife's past just couldn't care less that he's married.
She could have pushed him away a little bit harder than she did.
You think?
Yeah, she kind of was letting it happen right in front of her poor new husband.
Trish, baby. Long time no see. How you doing, Lenny?
Danny.
Oh, yeah. Hey, congratulations on tying the knot.
Thank you.
Got some great little gal here, Lenny. Believe me, I know. Luigi asks about you all the time.
Who's Luigi?
It's funny, after all this time, he still expects us to show up every Thursday night.
Really?
Hey, who's Luigi?
Had some great times, haven't we, Bunny?
Bunny?
Boy, seeing you was the best. I missed you.
Michelle, one of the things about this episode, you guys, I was just, like I said, looking for an episode that was just a sorbet, a palate cleanser of sorts, just a classic Love Boat. I wanted to find one that was wacky as can be. Now, this one has some funny stuff in it for sure. You're not going to go wrong with Phyllis Diller, but they snuck some serious stuff onto this episode, didn't they?
Oh my gosh, I was not expecting that at all.
Neither was I. Now, this is a very interesting episode, you guys, in that there are some things that really show its age, one thing in particular, but it also shows how I think ahead of its time it was.
Absolutely. I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, it's really, really impressive. But first, the other thing that they do really, really well is they are not letting you know exactly what we're alluding to right now. So this actress, you think that she's on board just to get away from everyone. They are making you think that there is some sort of torrid romance taking place. And maybe there is.
Meet me on the deck in 15 minutes, honey. Oh, I just spotted two men outside. I think they're reporters. Damn, they'll find out everything.
Michelle, did you know what was happening prior to finding out who Joyce was traveling with? Because I did not.
I guessed it when I did kind of guess it was similar to what ended up happening. Yes.
How? Because they didn't. That kid wasn't in the beginning of the credits. They didn't say his name in the credits. So all you had to go on was two cameras, and you knew exactly what was happening.
No, I went on when she was talking to the mystery person behind closed doors or through a door.
And you knew.
I had a guess. I can't say I knew for certain, but I knew it wasn't a boyfriend or anything like that. I either thought it was a father or something else.
Or a chimpanzee.
Right. It was not a boyfriend, though, at all in my mind.
Well, see, I didn't know. For anyone like me out there, we shortly after this find out that she is traveling with her very special son, Billy.
I think the coast is clear.
It's only you.
Well, you sure know how to hurt a guy.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that the way it sounded. It's just that there's a reporter on board snooping around trying to dig up some gossip on me. Something sensational.
You mean like a love affair?
Mm-hmm. But there isn't any.
Well, I'd be happy to give him something to write about. Well, maybe some other time.
It's me. Come and give me a big kiss. Oh, hi, sweetheart. Listen, Mommy's gonna change her clothes, and then you and I are gonna play a game, okay? Okay. Okay. See you in a minute. Hi.
You can't keep him a secret forever, you know.
Maybe not, Claire. But I can keep him away from this particular reporter on this particular cruise. Look, we'll just continue to leave the cabins separately and make sure we're not seen together.
But this is something that...
Look, Claire, you're a therapist. You haven't had the kind of experiences I've had with these cheap magazines. They could ruin Billy's chance for a normal life. They can undo all the wonderful work that you've done with just one cover photo and a caption reading, TV star's retarded son.
Well, I wasn't surprised that she had a son.
I was.
I was not. I was surprised that there's clearly something wrong with him because he's talking very slow and kind of struggling a bit.
Well, let's address the elephant in the room, shall we? You guys, there are certain words that just aren't used anymore, at least not from any sensitive people strolling this planet, correct?
Correct.
So when you hear the word, I'm going to say it.
No.
Well, this is what I'm saying. We can say it as adults and say that this is a word that just is not used anymore. They use the word retarded. And when I heard it, it was like shocking to hear. You know what I mean? It's just like something that you just don't use. Now, they weren't using it in a disparaging way.
No.
And that's the thing is like there are just certain things that have changed, but the way that they handle this pretty heavy storyline, I thought they did really, really nicely.
I agree too, but that was not what I was expecting when he was talking slow.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I was expecting like he had been in an accident and he had brain damage or something. Like when she said that word, I was shocked. I was surprised.
But that's the thing about the Love Boat, and we've said this before too, that we were not prepared for them taking on various different topics and situations that are as serious as that.
No, I was expecting a little more lighthearted episode because Phyllis Diller was on it and we got like a very serious subject.
Yeah, but it was cool and I really liked it then. That's what made me really enjoy this episode because it was substantial and handled really, really well. I think all the actors that they chose for this did a great job with it. So yes, we discover that Billy is a special needs kid and she is trying to protect him at all costs.
Istvan, have you ever drank Blanc de Blanc?
No, I have not. What is that?
It's apparently some kind of wine. I found it to be an odd name of a wine, but perhaps it truly exists.
Oh, we're in the we've shifted to the dining area, correct?
Mm-hmm.
The question I had wasn't so much about the type of wine, is why was the waiter wearing a gigantic wrapper chain around his neck? Did you notice that at all?
No, I didn't.
How could you not see it? He had a giant
oh, man.
It was like a bicycle chain like around his neck, and I'm like, Michelle will know what this is, so you didn't know? Oh boy. Well, guys, this is going to be the question if I can remember to do it via Spotify. I am going to put in what the hell was the giant chain around the waiter's neck. I don't know what that was.
I'm going to have to go back and look, and then I will chime in on this survey.
But who be sending some Blanc de Blanc, Michelle?
Everybody's favorite, Lyle Wagoner.
I'd like to propose a toast.
With water?
Sure. And then we can order wine and do it all over again.
Sounds great.
To you and me. And a lifetime of wine.
Oh, Denny, it's Blanc de Blanc. It's my favorite. Thank you.
Actually, the gentleman over there sent it with his compliments.
What does he think he is?
He thinks he's Jay Kavanaugh. Is he wrong? I'll check on that. Get right back to you.
This bag.
Oh,
I don't have to put up with this.
fun. Why waste a perfectly good bottle of wine? Let's enjoy it.
If I was Larry, Michelle, I would have gotten up with the sharpest knife on the table and I would have jabbed it into Lionel Wagner's neck, because not only is it completely wrong and infuriating as a man, but you're on your wedding or your honeymoon.
Right.
I would have murdered Lionel Wagoner on this cruise.
I would have too. And in all fairness, once again, the wife should have stepped in and put an end to it.
Yeah, she should have.
It's almost like she kind of liked it.
Michelle, how was the food on this cruise? Did you notice it all?
I did notice.
What
I
was-
always like a buffet.
Was it any good?
It looked good.
Because I don't think anyone did. Because the captain was nervous.
He was nervous.
Because the IRS agent, no nonsense. At the table.
Didn't even eat her Black Forest cake.
No, she didn't want any dessert. She wanted to get right down to business.
And then he said, I shouldn't be here on the couch with you.
I once audited a guy who made $50,000 and only paid $29 in taxes.
Gee, well, I'd like to meet him.
Well, I don't know if he's allowed visitors. You'd have to check with the warden. We found $3,000 in his doghouse. Now he's in the big house for unreported income. There's a million stories in the IRS.
How long have you been with Uncle Sam?
About 12 years, but only the last 3 with the Internal Revenue.
Well, where were you before that?
The FBI. Well, back to the books.
Aren't you going to finish your dessert?
Gopher, I work for the people of this great nation, and they are not paying me to scarf down Black Forest cake. They are paying me to catch the cheaters in the warp and woof of our society.
Now, while everybody's in the dining room having a great time, Joyce Dewitt, this actress, Jackie Landers, she's back in the cabin with the therapist and Billy because she does not want to be seen with this child. Not because she's ashamed of him, but because she is protecting him.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I found weird about this episode, Michelle, is the way that Billy talked.
I know.
Guys, this is one of the things that they didn't handle so great, I think, back in the day. And the casting could have been actually somebody, I'm sure there were a lot of people who would have enjoyed having an opportunity to act, who literally had some sort of disability of some kind. But they really make Billy sound like Frankenstein or a caveman.
Kid.
And the kid did a valiant job. I think he did a really nice job. He was giving it his all. But to me...
That's why I was kind of surprised at what was happening with him, because the way he was speaking just made me think that there was something else going on.
More ice cream? No, not tonight. You've already had all of Claire's and half of mine. I like ice cream. It's delicious. Darling, that's wonderful.
He's worked hard on that one.
Listen, young man, Claire's going to take you back up on deck and show you the ocean again. Won't that be fun?
Mommy, come too?
No, honey. Mommy can't come. But I tell you what, meet you back here later and tuck you in.
I wish Mommy come. She's delicious.
Istvan, you know what I wish sometimes?
What?
That Love Boat disco lounge music was always playing throughout our house at all times.
Oh, and then we had have we said that? Because I think we want the Pirates Cove is part of our home already.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yes, in the Jerk where they have their own disco and then he has the little umbrellas and drinks. That was his thing. I would love to have that music playing 24/7.
I really wish there was some sort of soundtrack of all that disco music from the Love Boats that you could purchase.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. But the part that I'm glad that we don't have is that inevitably many of your previous boyfriends would show up and then they would force dances on you and you would not resist in the way that I would expect or hope for. And then I'd have to stand there on the sidelines angry and watching this all take place like poor Larry from Three's Company had to do.
Hi. You're playing our song. Let's dance.
Oh, no thanks. I'm waiting here for Denny.
Okay. We'll wait together on the dance floor.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Why not?
Just because.
Oh, come on, Trish. I want to get at least one dance with the prettiest girl in the room.
Jay, the answer is no.
Hey, it's only a dance. What's the matter? You afraid of me?
No, I'm not.
Good. Then let's go.
Again, to your point earlier, Larry should just take both those drinks he so nicely went and got for him and his wife and thrown it in both of their faces.
Wouldn't it be weird if, like, it took a twist and, like, he bashed the glass into his head and there's all blood, like Lionel Wagner's bleeding from the side of his head? Like, this Love Boat takes, like, a really gruesome...
Like a fantasy island.
Yeah, like a terrible turn. Yeah, but it didn't. He just keeps enduring all of this humiliation and emasculation on this. It's his honeymoon.
Right.
Oh, my God, I would have asked for a refund, even though it's not the cruise line's fault. But no one's helping this guy out in the way that he needs. Somebody should have stepped in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not all bad news on the dance floor, Michelle.
It is not.
Because Julie, matchmaker extraordinaire, I like this. The captain totally doesn't want to hang around with Phyllis Diller. And Phyllis Diller plays the role really, really great. And she completely encourages him to take her out onto the dance floor and dance. And I enjoyed that part of this. Did you?
I always do. I love Uncomfortable Captain.
Yeah, Uncomfortable Captain's one of the best things ever. And he takes her out to... Trip the Light Fantastic.
Hello there.
Well, hi, Miss Penny.
I'll be getting back to the bridge.
Oh, have you packed it in for the night?
No, just taking a break.
Well, see ya.
Come on, you know you came down here to boogie.
Who'd want to boogie with me?
Lots of people, I'm sure.
Bye.
I better get back, too. Oh, Captain, I'm going over your charitable deductions. Boy, you give a lot.
Miss Penny, would you care to dance?
Captain, I'd love to.
See, Michelle, I was happy on this episode because, you had many of the standard tropes.
Yes.
And one of which we have made famous now, I like to think, is love bow is what we call it. It's usually in the evening, and it's where all serious things take place. So Joyce Dewitt's out there just trying to, get some fresh air. And all of a sudden, the reporter approaches her and wants to get, kind of the scoop.
Miss Landers, my name is...
I know who you are.
I'll just take a minute of your time.
No, you won't take any of my time. Look, why can't you just leave me alone?
Because my readers don't want me to leave you alone. They love every inch of you. They want to know what kind of toothpaste you use, what you eat for breakfast, and most of all, who's there in the morning to eat it with you.
Look, Mr.
Scott.
Okay, Scott. If it's my love life you're interested in, I give you my word, there is nobody in it. Honestly.
No one?
No one.
I don't believe it. I mean, you know what I mean.
Oh, look, Scott, you seem like a pretty nice fellow, and I know that you're only trying to do your job, but I really need a rest.
Sure.
So I'll make you a deal. You lay off for the rest of this cruise, and if ever I have a legitimate romance, you'll be the first one to know about it. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
Good night.
Good night. Scott, my boy, you've got a good heart. You also have 2 feet on the way to the unemployment line.
Did you think then he was kind of falling for her during the scene? Did you get that impression?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I kind of did. And then that's why later he got angry, I thought.
You know what? That's a good point, though, because that's something that I was saving for the end, and I will save for the end. So please try and remind me of that, okay? Because that's a major element of this episode. But no, at this point, I just think he believed that she really just needed a break, and he was showing his humanity, and I thought actually it was kind of a good use of love bow.
Agreed.
Michelle, Richard Kline, a.k.a. Is it Denny Lucas or Danny Lucas? I couldn't tell what his name was, Larry, on this. Denny or Danny?
It is Danny.
So Danny Lucas, we think like he's enduring all this, but he's human. He's not made of stone. So he's back in the room pacing back and forth, and, she's getting into some kind of weird nightgown, his newlywed bride, but he's mad.
Yeah, as he should be.
Yeah, and so it's just like, for a second you think they're going to sort of reconcile, but it goes south.
Danny, it was only a dance.
It was one dance too many.
Look, I'll say it one more time. Jay meant something to me once, and it's over.
I want to believe you.
Well, then do.
What's wrong with me? This is our honeymoon.
I was wondering when you were going to remember that.
How can I be jealous when I've got all the luck? I mean, if Jay wasn't such a moron, you'd be married to him now instead of me. Right? Trish?
I'm sorry. I was just thinking.
I got a pretty good idea about who.
Damn.
Made you think he was going to go after Lionel Wagoner.
You don't know that he didn't. Maybe you just couldn't find him because
Maybe.
Lionel Wagoner was in some other lady's room that he had picked up that
Probably.
evening. So he probably was storming around looking for him, couldn't find him. Then you cool off after a while. You know, maybe you go to whatever bar Isaac is working at, every single one of the bars. You have a couple drinks and then...
It is amazing how Isaac is always at every single bar all night long.
Didn't we say we feel like there's some sort of like a tube system like you get at the bank when your like little money comes through the tube, and he just goes into the tube and he gets shot to all the different places, and while you're in the tube your clothes change to whatever like outfit you need at that special bar. I like to think that that's what's happening.
I think you're probably right.
Because later on this episode we get to see that there's a gym, like there's a cool gym, a 1980s gym.
Don't even I have so much to say about that gym. Maybe we should just get right into it.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we can jump. Should we jump that far? No, we can't jump that far yet. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Larry is having a bad go of this trip so far.
After speaking to the reporter, Joyce Dewitt is making her way back to the cabin to tuck her little son into bed.
Feeling pretty good about that exchange, right?
She was. And she walks into a little bit of an emergency situation.
He'll be fine. Nothing serious. Give him his pills in case he has any problems sleeping.
Claire, is something wrong? Billy?
There's nothing wrong. Just a little tummy ache.
Ice cream bad? Oh, sweetheart.
Ice cream isn't bad. It's just that Billy's had too much of it. After a good night's sleep, it'll be raring to go in the morning.
Did you hear what Dr. Bricker said? Let Mommy tuck you in. There you go. Oh, honey. Good night.
Good night, Mommy.
Hey, get some rest. I'll be here.
Thank you.
He's a good kid.
Yes, he is. But that isn't all you noticed, is it?
No, he's a little slow.
Oh, Doctor, you don't have to use euphemisms. Billy's been retarded since birth. I've accepted that.
He seems to have made some pretty good progress.
Mm-hmm. Thanks to Miss Rice. She's a wonderful therapist.
I think you'll have to take some of the credit for that yourself. There's never been a substitute for love and faith.
Well, now you understand why I've been avoiding that reporter. I'm not ashamed of Billy, but I don't want Billy hurt.
Now, don't worry. He's not going to hear anything from me.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
You know, Michelle, how much ice cream do you have to eat to actually have to have a doctor come and visit you? I mean...
Depends if you're lactose intolerant.
Oh, that's true.
Not that
and
much.
Boy, do I know that now. Like, things have changed for me over the years. That is actually true. Sorry, Billy.
Kids like to eat a lot of stuff, and even though he has an adult supervisor with him...
Ice cream good.
Ice cream is good.
Mm-hmm.
He is like a caveman. That is terrible.
Fire bad, ice cream good.
So Doc is called to their cabin, and he's checking the boy out. And
you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt, but like Doc, he's great in this episode, and they really utilize Bernie Capel great because he really is this support for her, and they have like a really pretty good conversation. Again, they're using the R word, but the way that she lays all this out, I think, is ahead of its time. Because then again, she's also like a single mom, right? Because she doesn't have anybody in her life. So she's handling all this, a crazy career. I mean, that is a lot to deal with, really, for any person. So I was really impressed with this, and I thought that they handled this pretty weighty thing in not a lighthearted way, but it wasn't cumbersome or anything, and they did a great job.
Thankfully, there's a little bit of a cleansing of the palate.
Hell yeah.
It's a drunken Phyllis Diller in the captain's cabin laying
Wasted
on
a
couch.
Champagne Coulis or something like that. I don't know what
she was drinking.
It was awesome when he went in the room.
Champagne cocktail,
Oh, there you go.
Was.
She's in the room in some sort of like glamour pose, like on the couch. Oh my God, I love Phyllis Diller so much. You must have been in heaven because it had Captain Stubing and Phyllis Diller together. It's like the ideal pairing for you.
It sure was.
Yeah, so she's drunk. He's not prepared for her to be in the room like that, and she basically throws herself at him.
Hey there,
Well, you came back to work after all.
No, I didn't come to work. I came to play.
What?
You know, I've never had a champagne cocktail in my life before. They make you feel all silly. Like you're going to do something wild. You know, you could take advantage of me and there would be nothing I could do to stop you.
Viola, I think we better have a talk. Now, what I'm going to say may hurt my tax position, but I'm a very honest man, and I just have to say it. Viola, you and I, the two of us, could never have a situation involving
Did you, for some reason, I was captivated by the way the captain said sex.
I don't think I remembered. How did he say it?
Sex. It's like really odd coming out of his mouth.
You know what? This is all I was hoping for, man. You know, something like this whole scene was all I was waiting for. You know, an inebriated Phyllis Diller throwing herself at a reluctant captain was fantastic. The added burnt tan that he had going, at least from my perspective, was a bonus.
And props to her or the costuming department. That wig was on really secure. It did not move or come off at all.
That whole time, I was just like, seriously, I was like freaking out. Like, he's going to smash her head up against the wall. The way he was carrying her, like, you forget.
Like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah, like she was just hung over the back. And like, I thought for sure he was going to turn too quickly. And literally, Phyllis Diller's head was going to get smashed up against like the wall or the beam in that office. But it didn't happen. And yeah, that well, I guess you're not going to carry like a lifeless body down a hallway. So
no, but
put her on the couch.
Either leave her on the couch
Throw her
and go
overboard?
in your room, or if you're going to put her in your room, but then the next day he's talking about how he slept on Doc's exam table. Why wouldn't he just sleep on the couch?
Well, maybe because he doesn't want to be in the room with a
Yeah,
maniac Phyllis Diller.
Right. That could be bad for the audit.
If we could only stay in this part of the cruise, Michelle.
Absolutely.
Because now Phyllis Diller, Viola Penny, has fallen in love with the captain. And the captain is obviously not in love with her, but he is caught in this situation where he does not want to offend her. He wouldn't want to offend her anyway as a great captain, but he definitely doesn't want to ruin his chances during this IRS audit, so it makes things even more difficult for the captain.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, I guess we'd better go.
No. You two just stay right there.
You left early this morning.
I left last night.
Of course, Merrill. Whatever you say.
Don't you two have someplace to go?
Miss Penny, please.
Viola, you have to believe me. Nothing happened last night.
I think it's cute of you to be concerned about my reputation. That chivalry was dead.
Now, look, when I took you to bed last night, let me rephrase that. It was obvious that you were ready for bed, so I just... I'm not saying this right, am I? Now, look, believe me, nothing happened.
Yes, my darling. Now, what shall we do today? Do you want to show me your ship and teach me about life at sea? Or shall we just lounge around in the tropical sun?
Now, look, don't you think you should be spending your time on my audit? I can't believe I just said that.
Right. We could go over your records together. Oh, that would be conflict of interest.
It sure would. Now, look, you've got my keys. Help yourself to my records. I have to go and make sure that the computer knows the way to New York. I mean, Los Angeles.
Merrill, next cruise, we should each have our own keys.
Did this episode of The Loveboat, the Joyce Dewitt story, did kind of have the element of anxiety-ridden Three's Company, where like there's like a miscommunication where Doc is leaving the room after seeing the boy and the reporter sees him leaving and he gets very upset and feels betrayed?
I guess. I mean, I didn't read it that way, but you're kind of right. But that's what I liked about this, because it was kind of complex, but it did do sort of the sitcom-y stuff in a way that was, I didn't expect it really. Mm-hmm. So he did see Doc leaving when Billy had his massive stomach ache. And then he thought that they were an item with one another. Although I don't know why you would think that, because you're on a cruise and it's like, how would you do it? But
And he had his medical bag with
yeah,
him.
but I thought that was actually kind of interesting. And then that's what he thought. So the following day, he confronts her saying, "You lied to me." And Doc steps in a pretty awesome way.
Oh, that's funny. Here it is, a nice sunny day, yet I get a snow job.
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about? All that baloney about you being here for a rest. I bought that, too.
You're disgusting. And so is that rag you work for.
It wasn't disgusting when your publicity people were whining and dining my editor to get your face on the cover, or can't you remember when your show wasn't #1?
Well, does that give you the right to come snooping into my private life whenever and wherever you feel like it?
When you accept the big cars and the big dressing rooms and the big bucks, you give up your private life. Now, come on, who's the guy? I saw him leaving your cabin last night.
Forget it, Jackie. They were bound to find out anyway. Heck, we were lucky to keep it a secret this long.
You're right. If it's out, it's out.
Well, that's more like it. I want to go scare up my photographer. I'll be back in about 30 minutes. Don't make me chase you around the ship.
Thank you, Doc.
Don't thank me. This'll do wonders for my reputation.
Michelle, can you imagine how gross the gym and sauna, unisex sauna, would be on the Love Boat?
I was just going to say, not only is it a gross sauna, it is a unisex sauna.
But that's where we are, and I loved it, and I filmed it, and I took a photo of it, because it's like I love to see other areas on the Love Boat that we have not yet seen.
Right.
So they are in there, like, totally going into the 80s, exercise started. Hey, we should exercise. That became a thing.
And did you notice every female was exercising in heels? No. Go back and watch.
Did they have leg warmers and heels?
No, not a single one had gym shoes on. They were heels.
I thought you were going to say they have pantyhose on, because every poor woman has her legs like sausages shoved into pantyhose.
Well, that's interesting, too, that you say that, because I didn't mention, like, if you remember when Joyce Dewitt was going to the pool in the beginning and she had nylons on.
I hate that, yes.
She didn't like to show her bare legs.
What do you mean?
On Three's Company, when she would wear shorts, she would always have nylons on, and then she did on this Love Boat episode.
Yeah, but they make all the women on the Love Boat wear nylons or pantyhose or whatever. Always, there's always. I mean, I'm sure there've been some exceptions, but more often than not, that's what I've noticed. It's a strange.
It's true,
thing.
but they made a point when I was looking up her information that was a thing, and that she became a spokesperson for legs pantyhose.
Yeah, see, we've talked about this before. Do people wear pantyhose anymore? Like, is that even a thing? Like, they were everywhere when I was a kid, and those, we've said it already, in the eggs. Like, there were like those eggs that pantyhose would come in. I was obsessed with those. Do people even wear them anymore? Is there a need for that anymore?
I hated when we sometimes have to wear pantyhose as kids, because it was so constricting.
Well, what a world of, like, where you see the stock whatever of pantyhose plummet in like 89, and then like no one's wearing them anymore. But yes, we are in the sauna, you guys, the unisex sauna. And so the wife, newlywed, she's just trying to, like, I don't know what she's trying to do. You know what I mean? She certainly isn't trying to talk to her husband.
No.
And so she goes to just get a schwitz in. And guess who's in the sauna, you guys? The Tingler.
Guess who?
The Shah of Iran.
Don't give it away. My accent?
Oh, haven't you caused enough trouble already?
Come on, Trish. Admit it. You married that guy on the rebound from me.
Well, if I did, I sure bounced in the right direction. Unfortunately, I'm having trouble convincing Denny of that.
When are you going to face the fact that the vibes between us are still there? Don't fight the feeling.
Jay!
What?
You know I mean nothing to you.
Oh.
You're only hitting on me to make a point. Please, you gotta back off. My whole life is at stake. I'm about to lose my husband.
Hey, what are you doing? Well, don't cry. All right. I'll fix everything.
You will?
Sure. I'll take you to my cabin and kiss all those little tears away.
No, Jay! No, leave me down!
Once again, I'm thinking, oh, she's finally going to give it to, like, tell him to leave her alone, and this is going to be the end of it.
All right, she was crying.
Yes, she was, and I thought, this is it.
No, he picks her up like Tarzan, carries her out, and she's all laughy. And then, of course, Larry walks in on it, the poor dude.
Great.
for me.
Well, baby, looks like it's you and me.
That may be what it looks like to you.
You know, you think today, Michelle, with all the issues with the media being problematic, it's been happening for a very, very long time.
Certainly has.
Because Doc has, embraced this fake role as this actress's love interest. They're doing this whole, photo shoot / interview. But some wires get crossed because the therapist is supposed to be taking Billy on different parts of the ship while, Joyce is out there. Joyce Dewitt's out there on her decks of the ship. But then Billy discovers Mommy.
How long have you and Dr. Bricker been together?
Oh, about 8 months. Isn't that right, darling?
Yes?
Is there marriage in the future?
Possibly, but we want to make sure we're completely compatible first.
Yes. We're doing extensive testing.
Something wrong?
Oh, no. Mommy!
Hey, baby. Mom? There's our story.
Make him stop!
All right, Walt, that's enough. Don't you get it? This guy's just a front. It's the kid she's trying to hide.
Boys, give the lady a break.
I'm sorry, I guess our decks got crossed.
I write my name. I write my name. Good.
Now you know.
I don't know what to say.
Here, honey. Here you go, babe. Get down. Claire, would you take Billy back to his cabin? Okay. Now you've got your scoop. Get lost.
I had no way of knowing.
Look, just remember one thing, okay? I'm not the victim here. My son is. And if you think he can't be hurt, you're wrong. He has feelings just like everybody else.
I'd be very careful about my next move.
That was heartbreaking.
It was a good scene.
It was very emotional.
Because the way that Bernie Coppell, the lines that he has, I would be very careful with what you guys are going to, do at this point. I mean, I thought the whole thing was pretty good.
Once again, he steps in.
Yeah, this is a super solid episode. I mean, no big spoiler there. I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was good, weightier than I was expecting, but I'm glad that it was. Because this was, I thought, a pretty cool storyline.
Absolutely. I found it odd that the captain had given Phyllis Diller full run of his cabin.
You did?
I did. Why?
I don't know. Maybe just to show that he had nothing to hide, so he was giving her carte blanche.
Let's give her all your bookkeeping.
Well, he kind of did. Where else is he going to go? She only has one place to go. It's not like he's got a million places. He's got that cool, dual office / bedroom. So where else is she going to go?
Well, then she got a little too comfortable.
Wasn't she reading from a giant, Ebenezer Scrooge ledger of his?
His bookkeeping. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, wow, even in the early 80s or 79, they still kept a giant,
some ancient ledger,
with all your numbers. And
but she was impressed with how, straight-laced the captain was.
Of course.
But then the ship, as we've said, the ship is magic, but I think many of today's reality-based shows, the real magic of the ship is just alcohol, because she went from never having a drink to let's celebrate with some booze. You know what I mean? She went straight for the liquor cabinet.
Thank God she had the keys.
Where she makes a grave discovery.
Meryl, if the IRS gave gold stars, your books would get one. I'll drink to that. Now all we need is some hooch. Aha! I've heard of cold cash. This is ridiculous.
Michelle, she found thousands of dollars in singles shoved into an into an ice bucket. I don't know how he crammed like thousands of dollars in singles, because that's all that came out in toy money.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, why is she so mad?
She found $45.
Singles.
Yeah, that's what I thought. She found $50. Who cares? But in reality, we are going to find out that it's a lot more than what it looked like.
I was shocked that it was that much money when
props
it was
department.
all singles. Maybe there's some 50s at the bottom that she didn't get to.
But the props department couldn't have printed out some $100 bills. I mean, come on, man. So she finds this, and then she thinks that the captain is like,
embezzling.
He's got some. But I mean, come on, man. Everyone's got some cash that they keep in the house. It's not like this is some massive fraud that she discovered.
That's what I was thinking. It was like, well, I guess because it was, even though we saw it as just singles, as like you said, we later find out it was more than just singles. So maybe she saw that it was thousands of dollars or whatever. But
I don't know.
I was thinking the same thing. Can't a guy just put a little money aside? Maybe it's for like, vacation or buy himself something nice.
No, because she's letter of the law. And Phyllis Diller storms out of the captain's office/bedroom, and she goes straight for him to tell him how angry she is.
No Miss Penny tonight?
No, she can't be far away. Look, stick around, will you, madam? Maybe if you're here, she won't try any hanky-panky.
Captain Stubing, it's one thing to toy with a poor, lonely woman's affection simply to mask your own avarice. But when you cheat the American people by not paying your fair share, that's unforgivable. But I'm on to you now, Buster, and you're going to get what's coming to you.
Well, I guess you don't have to worry about hanky-panky anymore.
Oh, thank heavens.
Now you just have to worry about getting thrown in the slammer.
You guys, we have established that we like this episode. Again, the whole storyline with Joyce Dewitt was a total surprise to me. And it also was a surprise to me after the initial shock of using a word that we no longer use, the way that they handled this. And the next scene, as they wrap up this storyline and the whole episode, basically, I thought was kind of downright amazing. Joyce Dewitt is under the impression that these guys are now going to, like, plaster this all over their stupid magazine or whatever.
The star.
Yeah, and then now expose this thing that she has been trying to keep from the public eye to the whole world. And the reporter approaches her and wants to speak with her. And this scene I thought was kind of incredible.
Hey, have I told you today how much I love you?
Only about 1,000 times.
I have to speak to you.
Look, you already have what you came for, complete with pictures.
Miss Landers, I would not write a word that would hurt you or your son. I'm walking away from this assignment. But I do think this is a story that should be told.
Absolutely not.
I don't mean the Star Life magazine, but there are responsible magazines and newspapers. Look, you are the idol to millions of people. If they find out that Jackie Landers has a child with a problem and is handling it the best way she can, you can be an inspiration to all the others with special kids.
Scott, is this some sort of trick? Are you just trying to lull me into security until I see our pictures plastered on your front page?
The photographer won't say a word. As far as the pictures go, I'm sorry if we ruined your vacation.
Now, Michelle, the reason I liked this scene so much was, again, we've been dancing around a word that you no longer say, the R word. And the way that this was written perfectly, because he doesn't use it. The way that he talks about the son and, their situation was, I thought, I don't know how you would do it much better than that. And him making the suggestion that she share her story in the right context with people to serve as an inspiration is, I think, 100% accurate.
Yes, he took a negative situation and made it positive by calling the kid special and that the world would like to know.
Again, because people look up to her, they want to know all these things about her. And if she is going through this, that this would serve as like a massive encouragement to people.
To other families going through the same thing.
Oh, for sure. So like in that regard, on a Love Boat episode, for them to handle something like that and do it in the way that they did, I was super impressed.
I was not expecting the Larry and his wife and Lyle Wagoner story to kind of resolve as it did. How about you?
No, that was the only one that was a little clunky and
Yeah.
confusing because the way that she was just hanging out with this dude and not just saying F off,
Right.
I don't want to be around you, and that Larry is weirdly just hanging around watching from the sidelines, like literally, was incredibly strange.
Mhm.
But that's exactly what's happening. Lionel Wagner could not care less, and she leads him into a switcheroo that, albeit strange, I guess was kind of nice because you've got to wrap this up in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
And was comeuppance with a little twist of funny.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I have a very important announcement to make. I want each and every one of you to know that I love this woman.
And I would like you all to know that this man here does not know the meaning of the word love. He has never loved anyone but himself.
Now, wait a minute.
And you could take some lessons on how to love from that man over there, Denny Lucas.
Captain and Phyllis Diller are like back in his cabin. Like he's still kind of dumbfounded as to why she's so angry and why she's going to put him in jail. He's trying so hard to figure out what she saw in his bookkeeping, his giant ledger, that made her so mad. And he cannot for the life of him figure it out. And so they are together arguing back and forth when Gopher comes in.
What is it?
Sir, sorry to interrupt, but Stuart Fowler is getting ready to leave the ship.
Oh, yes, Mr. Smith, excuse me, please. Over here, Gopher.
Yes, sir.
Any additional word on his mother?
Still no change, sir, but she's scheduled to go into surgery tomorrow afternoon.
Will 2,000 be enough?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Committee decided $2,000 should cover it.
Well, be sure and tell Fowler that there's no hurry paying this back. I mean, this is the kind of thing the crew emergency fund is for.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Where were we?
You were standing right here being furious, and I was standing right here misjudging you. Captain, I owe you an apology.
Oh, you mean you thought that...
Well, I guess that much money in an ice bucket would give anybody ideas.
Only someone as suspicious and stupid as I am. Can you ever forgive me?
It's forgotten.
Then everything's okay?
Everything's perfect.
Oh, Meryl!
I take that back.
So as we said earlier, these singles turned out to be $2,000 for a crew emergency fund.
Yeah, that threw me for a loop because
Me too.
when he said that amount of money, because back in 1979 or whatever, $2,000 is a lot of money.
It is.
I mean, that's a ton of money. I mean, it's not nothing now. I mean, $2,000, somebody gives you $2,000, you'd be very happy to get $2,000. But like, you know, then it made sense that that was at least a significant amount of money, and she immediately felt badly about what had happened. Where does the emergency fund come from? What do they do? Hold like a bingo night? And
That's
then
what I was wondering. And how did he know it was $2,000? Because it was all just shoved in the ice
he just
bucket.
randomly pulled out a bunch of money and threw it in an envelope for the poor guy's mother.
Right, at least like...
Proving that healthcare also has sucked in this country forever because you have to like get $2,000 that you got to pay back on top of everything else just to help your mom.
Right, so it was never good. And thank goodness for the emergency fund.
Yeah, we all need to work on boats, you guys, because then we'll have an emergency fund and, you know, it's fun all the time, good food, nice captain. So she finds out that the money was not being stolen. It was meant for benevolent causes. The captain is a great guy.
I still think Larry should not have taken her back.
Come and leave my wife.
I don't know. He shouldn't have just been so accepting right away. She put him through hell on his honeymoon.
She's a real pain in the ass. Doodle-doodle-doo-doo.
But typical. They've wrapped it up in a good way and everything is wonderful.
Adios, newlyweds.
Mm-hmm.
Bye. Thanks for sailing with us.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you two. Good luck.
Oh, come on, you can't blame the guy for trying now, can you?
Hey, of course not. So long, Ray.
That's Jay.
Guys, again, the storyline of Joyce Dewitt being an actress with a special needs child, I thought was done beautifully. And it even ends even better But I do have one caveat to that. But initially, as we say goodbye, we find out this really, really cool element of what is about to take place, not only in her life, but in this chivalrous reporter's life as well.
Well, I'd like to thank you all very much. This has been a wonderful trip.
Why don't you thank us all individually?
Oh, by the way, do you know where I can get in touch with Scott Allen?
Yes, I know exactly.
Clear? Hello.
Hi. I'm going to meet you down in the terminal. Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm really glad I didn't miss you. I've decided to take your suggestion. As a matter of fact, my manager's already called and made arrangements for me to tell Billy's story to a leading news syndicate.
Well, I'm proud of you, Miss Landers.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have to start calling me Jackie if we're going to be working together.
Together?
Well, I couldn't just let anyone write an important story like this. It needs somebody with heart. Will you come and say hello to my son?
Sure.
Okay. Billy, this is Scott.
Hey, Billy, how you doing?
Hi. You ready? Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So long.
Bye, Billy.
Bye-bye, Billy.
All right, now, Michelle, I had one issue with this. I wonder if you can guess what it is with this storyline.
Probably the same issue I had, maybe?
Tell me what it is.
She invites the reporter, to meet her son.
Right.
And then they immediately hold hands and walk off together?
Well, that was strange. That was a strange part. Yes, I did see that as being odd, definitely. But the thing that I thought that should have happened, because we've talked about this 1,000 times, everybody falls in love on the Love Boat way too fast. People are like proposing to one another within 5 minutes. I thought because she was like not with anyone, that she was single, that because this guy was such a good guy, that they fell for one another. That's what I thought would have been appropriate maybe for once as far as this was concerned, that she not only found a man, she saw someone who was willing, because he was basically risking his entire career. He said earlier, like, I'm going to be walking to the unemployment line because he threw this story away, which is why he was there.
But I think they kind of applied that at the end, why she asked him to meet the son.
Well, because they're going to work together because he's going to write about it, unless they were alluding to the fact that maybe like a romantic relationship would happen.
I kind of felt like I said earlier that he was kind of alluding towards that anyway, and that's partially why he got mad when he saw Doc come out of the room.
Oh, see, I didn't pick up on that. So maybe
it was not so outward as it normally is in the Love Boat. It was more subdue, but
subdue, is that a word? Subdue?
No.
Finish your words.
It's not a word?
Subdue? It might be, but not in the context that you're using. Did you drink a champagne?
I wish I had many champagne cocktails tonight. But like I had alluded earlier, I felt like that they were kind of...
You could be right.
Like talking about a little bit of a romance where he was kind of falling for her a little bit, and he got so mad when Doc came out of the room.
Okay.
And
well, I just thought, I needed to be overt. I'm not picking up on subtleties in that regard. I need things to be over my head.
Yes, to your point, it was very subtle, if I'm even correct. And even at the end there, I felt like maybe her introducing him to the son, because I guess she did ask him to conduct the interview. So I thought that was a nice twist.
Oh, yeah, no, I love that part.
That
I thought that was great.
He gets the expose.
And then maybe moves him on to a whole different place to where he could actually do real reporting and not like
does
that.
It right for one of those rags, as my grandma used to call them.
Everybody did, tabloids and all of that. So, I mean, in that respect, I thought that, honestly, that storyline was really cool and really done really exceptionally well. And I was not prepared for that on this episode. I was just looking for lighthearted Phyllis Diller stuff, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Likewise, I was expecting the same thing, just some fun hijinks with Phyllis and the captain, and it turned out to be way better.
But we need to say goodbye to Phyllis, Michelle. I know you don't want to say goodbye to Phyllis.
Never do I.
But we have to.
To her.
It was cute. It was just no big deal of an ending. They even wrapped that up really great, though, too, because she comes to say goodbye to the captain.
I liked it. I thought it was slightly funny how they were just like kind of just trying to get rid of her very quickly, too. To kind of grab her rolling case and like shove her and it off the boat as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it was a nice ending.
Hey guys, anybody seen the captain?
Oh yes, he's right over there saying goodbye to his lady love.
I just have the feeling that I'm being treated as a sex object. Now, you may have misinterpreted some of my actions. The truth is, I'm not that kind of captain.
Merrill, I understand. Believe me, I respect you as a person.
Thank you.
I'm willing to wait.
Miss Penny! Why don't we help you take us on? So long, bye-bye.
Well, Captain, what was the results of the audit?
I don't believe it. I forgot to ask.
Miss Penny!
No.
And that's it. We are out. A nice, I thought, a little extra, a more substantial palate cleanser, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I really did like this episode. Again, season 3, episode 4. Guys, we did an Audible, and we wanted to just choose one ourselves just to try and find one like this. We even kind of tripped ourselves up a little bit because we weren't exactly prepared. But again, you guys, we're always asking, this is the way that the show's going forward, if it goes forward at all. I don't mean to be spooky, scary, sad. But it's like we are trying to understand where to go forward, and what we were doing is just throwing it out to you guys, the listeners. If you had an episode that you wanted to talk about, please send it our way. And, of course, the way that most people are communicating with us is via Instagram at Lovin The Loveboat, right?
Correct.
And if you type that in, I think you can find it, and you should be following us right now. So if you guys do have one that you'd like to talk about, we have not delved into sort of like those later episodes.
No, we have
not. Season 10 with I don't even know who's on the show at that point.
I kind of seen some clips of those. Like, I don't even think I watched it anymore at that point, because the beginning, it's completely different than what we're watching now.
Maybe we should try to be brave and go into that territory. I don't know.
We could. But again, if anybody has an episode that they recall that they loved or thought was strange, or by all means, shoot us a message and we'll definitely consider it.
Yeah, definitely. Send us anything that you may like, dislike, or just remember in any kind of a strange way, and we will definitely do our best to feature that show on the podcast. But until then, I am Istvan.
I'm Michelle.
Captain Stubing, please come to the bridge.
And we are Lovin' the Loveboat.